What's up YouTube, Kristo here, and I've got another big video for you. Gonna be one of my last top 10 lists. Actually, it's an updated top 10 list. I'm gonna be doing my top 10 niche fragrance houses. I'm actually gonna extend the title to my top 10 niche or exclusive fragrance houses. There's quite a lot of debate on what is niche, what is designer, etc., etc. Now, to me personally, I lump exclusive lines in with niche lines. To me, niche is a higher quality, lower release, less mass marketed, less accessible. I don't really think it has much to do with if they make clothing or if they don't. So you often get designer houses that will make a cheaper designer range, as they're often called. They'll have much larger distribution, more mass produced, more mass marketed. They'll have advertising, just they're everywhere. You see billboards for them. You see them in department stores, in drug stores, etc., etc. So to me, those are designers. Niche, yeah, definitely you can take some houses that only make perfume, but there are houses like that do have mass marketed perfume that is cheap, that is easy to find. I'm not including that stuff. I'm only talking about the higher end, generally more expensive, but to me the big thing with niche and exclusive is distribution and availability. So I want to talk about houses that are harder to access, that are using higher qualities, that sometimes have higher price points. Now, I mentioned recently in a video of mine that I'm going to phase out top 10 videos. I don't do them very often. I find them boring and redundant if they're done in too soon of succession. So pretty much I've got 3 or 4 that I want to do over the next year or so, and then they're pretty much going to be gone from my channel for ever, if not maybe just several years. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the fragrance community know that top 10 lists are a big draw. They bring in new subscribers, they bring in a lot of views per video, which means more revenue, which means more sales, etc., etc. And I don't know, I don't like that. I want people to come to my channel because they enjoy my content, not because they're kind of like tricked into watching it with like a new favorite of the week. I really don't like that kind of thing. But that said, I do really enjoy top 10 lists, and I know I enjoy watching them as long as they're done with a decent frequency. Like when you're doing a new top 10 list every week, every 2 weeks, it's boring. You show the same bottles every week, you just put them in a different order with a different title, etc., etc. That's not fragrance reviewing, that's not love of perfume, that's trying to get a big YouTube channel. And I'm not about that in the least sense. So basically my list, I've got my top 10 niche fragrance houses. I'm going to go through 10 to 1 being my favorite. I'm going to break this into 2 parts because it is going to be really long. So I'm going to stop at number 6 and then I'll continue in a second video to number 1. And for the first time, I'm also going to do a top 10 niche fragrance houses companion, where I'm going to address questions or address differences or changes in my list. When I did this about 3 years ago, my taste was different, my nose was completely different. There's a lot of houses that are not in my list anymore, and as well there's going to be some big, popular, well-loved, high-quality houses that didn't make my list either. And I kind of notice over and over again a lot of people asking like, oh, what happened to this house? Don't you like this house? And so I thought instead of making you keep asking all the questions and possibly not getting an answer, you know what, I'll just do another video and just talk about everything that didn't make my list that people thought maybe should have. So yeah, just trying to do something different. So let's get into this because I know it's going to be a long time. Basically what I'm going to do is go through, list the house, talk a little bit about them, price, availability, why I like them, why I'm drawn to them, and then I'm going to name some fragrances that I really enjoy. So number 10, L'Artisan Parfumeur. This one definitely made my list last year. It's just clinging on into 10th position. I think for me, I really enjoy what they do. I am kind of intrigued by light, minimal, transparent fragrances, and for the most part, that's a lot of what L'Artisan do. The reason they're kind of hanging in at number 10 is they're not really releasing many new fragrances. There's been a few here and there, but nothing that's really grabbed me. But there's still some really great scents in the current lineup that are available that I do thoroughly enjoy, and couldn't have with my collection without them. So some really great scents from L'Artisan, in my opinion, are Voliere de Roses. I've reviewed this on my channel. It's a beautiful, fuzzy patchouli. Not a heck of a lot of rose. There is a bit, but I find it much more patchouli based. Ambre Extreme, one of the most beautiful, like Christmas time, wintertime fragrances I've ever smelled. To me, it's just like kind of Christmas in a bottle. Traversée du Bosphore, a beautiful kind of leathery, powdery, gourmand fragrance meant to smell like Turkish delight. Al Oud is a really nice, interesting, semi-mainstream take on oud fragrances that I find to be a lot more wearable and a lot higher quality than a lot of the more mainstream designer or niche takes on oud that were really trendy and popular a couple years ago. And Timbuktu, one of their immortal classics. It's been around for a long time, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's a pretty big cult classic, and I really enjoy it as well. Number 9, this is one house that I had, and kind of the reason I thought about doing the companion video. When I did my first top 10 niche houses, I had a lot of people asking me, why isn't this house in there? Have you not smelled anything? Don't you like it? Whatever, whatever. And at the time, I didn't have much exposure to it, so it didn't make my list. It's kind of interesting because it kind of went from knowing nothing about it till absolutely loving it, and then kind of dropping down a bit. But I still really enjoy a lot of fragrances from the house. Number 9 is Amouage, and this is a true niche house from the Middle East, and they specialize in doing Middle Eastern fragrances. Now, when I first tried them, I was really impressed by pretty much everything I tried, but it was only like 2 or 3 things, and it wasn't a big enough section of what they had done or selection of what they had done for me to rank it in my top 10. Since then, I have basically tried almost everything that they have. It's kind of funny because when I first tried them, loved the house, couldn't get enough of them. And then they kind of started releasing the same thing just over and over and over, like especially for the men's line. Just kind of like smoky, ashy, spicy fragrances with a leather base, just over and over and over, just with slight notes changed and a different name. So for me, kind of like Interlude and After, I've really lost interest in, with a few little exceptions here and there. 3 years ago, yeah, this was like one of my favorite houses, and it's kind of slid down since then. I just find what they're doing is kind of boring. There's very little interest. I think with their huge success of Interlude, they're just trying to repeat that over and over and over and over. And I know there are other people out there that I talk to that I think have good taste that have kind of said the same thing as well. That said, there are some fantastic scents from the house. Epic, I think, is beautiful. It's like the kind of king of their line. A lot of people talk about Jubilation as being like, a scent for kings and stuff, but to me it's like Epic makes Jubilation look like a teenager's fragrance. Jubilation is great, but Epic to me is just so masculine, macho, mature, classy. Ciel, beautiful, just recently announced that it's being discontinued. It is still actually quite easy to find. Really nice, soft, clean summer fragrance. Peach, sandalwood, really nice. Wish I had a bottle. Unfortunately, I don't have one yet. Honor, really great, clean, dry, smoky, woody, lovely kind of mentholated incense. Memoir, dark, herbal, ashy, very interesting. I love it for fall time. Fantastic scent. Journey is about the only thing from Interlude and After that I really enjoy. It's the only one that really stands out. The rest I just kind of am bored with. They don't really appeal to me that much. The Opus line, there's a few in there that are good, but for the most part, I think most of them aren't anything that special at all. There's a couple that are good. I think like 5, 6, 7, they had a pretty good trio right there, but other than that, nothing overly impresses me from the line. Number 8, very quirky French niche brand. Again, this is like kind of a true niche brand. They don't do anything really outside of perfume. Atelier Libre d'Orange. And this is a house that I actually really wish I had more access to. From this entire list of what fragrances these houses still have in production, by far I have tried fewer of the Atelier Libre d'Oranges than anything else. I'd still say I've only tried about half of the house's offerings, which is actually quite small, because most of these I've tried like 75% or if not 100% of. They're affordable, they're fairly easily accessible, but they're really strange, they're quirky, they're different. If you don't mind goofy puns for names and slightly rude captions or logos or whatever, it's a pretty interesting house to get into. For me, the big one is Rien. I think it is one of the best niche perfumes I have ever smelled, and you can get it for a little over $1 per mil in a 100 ml bottle. There's also the Intense Incense version, which unfortunately I do not have, that was a limited edition. Elage de Traitre, which is a really nice balmy, resinous bay leaf fragrance, really classy, really sophisticated, especially for a house like Atelier Libre d'Orange, which we don't really associate with that. Divin Enfant, which smells like a rubber ball, very strange, very loud, very weird. Nombril Immense, another one actually that's really, to me, quite sophisticated and classy and easy to wear. It's a beautiful herbal patchouli scent. Poutine de Palace's beautiful powdery fragrance. I'm not really into powderies, but that one's great. Delicious Closet Queen, kind of a powdery gourmand. Rosie de Palma, beautiful light ginger rose fragrance. And Tom of Finland, I've spoken very highly of this on my channel before. It smells like a suede root beer vanilla milkshake, as strange as that sounds. It's a really great scent. And I have to give it a mention, Secretions Magnifique. I don't like wearing it, but it is a true work of art to me. It is something really special in the fragrance world. There's a few things I really strongly don't like about it, but I do think it is a pretty special scent. Number 7, this is another one that really was high a couple years ago and has kind of slipped down, kind of partially to just, in my opinion, making a few subpar releases. Number 7 is Maison Francis Kurkdjian, or MFK, as I'll probably refer to it as. Again, another true niche house that has kind of branched out into kind of quirky little things. They actually do like scented bubbles, scented fabric softener. They do incense, like actual burnable incense. The original lineup from MFK was spectacular. I think it was only 6 fragrances they released. It was like a few for men, a few for women, and a few unisex. Maybe it was 8, but they were exceptional. I thought all of them were great. And then they released Oud, the first just self-titled Oud, and I did not like it at all. It was expensive, it was boring, it was generic, it was just kind of like this cheap, sweet fragrance. Like cheap as in like a cheap give me. There wasn't really much to it. There was very little Oud, but it had a really high price tag on it. And then luckily they kind of redeemed themselves with a few things, and then they did Amorous, and I thought that was garbage. And they kind of keep going back and forth and back and forth. Their more recent releases, the Oud Moods, have been fantastic. The new one, Satin, is amazing. Like one of the best niche, like kind of mid-range niche fragrances I've tried. Mid to high, let's say, I've tried in a long time. Some really great scents in that line. Après sous le, après Absolute pour le soir. That's it. Took me. I just wrote down APLS. It took me a minute to think of that. Unfortunately, has been turned into, as far as I can tell, an online only fragrance, which is unfortunate because that was like by far my favorite out of the oud moods. It's just like, it smells like a dirty kitty litter box, which sounds horrible, but I actually really enjoy. Aqua Universalis, the original EDT, is still the only niche fragrance both me and my wife love. It's probably the only fragrance we both love, and I mean that we both enjoy wearing it very much and, you know, mutually think it smells good on each other. Nothing else I have ever tried that she's ever tried that we both mutually enjoy wearing. Lumiere Noir, I don't like it quite as much as I used to, but I still think it is pretty spectacular. Pluriel kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting much for like a metallic herbal fragrance, but I do think it is pretty good. I would really like to get a bottle of it. And yeah, the oud moods, all four of them are exceptional. The newest one, Satin especially. I don't know, I think they're all great, but unfortunately the price is way too high. The new Baccarat Rouge, or newer Baccarat Rouge, I've still yet to find out what draws people in. I think it's nice, but it doesn't really do it for me. But overall, it is a very good house. Number 6, this one is a designer house that has a designer and an exclusive line, and this one definitely kind of set a standard for me. It was one of the first designer houses that I was able to fully try their exclusive line, and it's really stuck with me since. A few of the designer line exclusives have kind of come and gone and come and gone. This one still stays. Even though it's only at number 6, it's still pretty respectable compared to, you know, some of the others I've tried. Number 6 is Chanel's Les Exclusives. A lot of controversy about this one right now. They're going to rebrand them or re-release them all as EDPs. In Toronto, the Chanel boutique have actually run out of a lot of the fragrances and samples, and are basically waiting until September to get the EDPs in. The sales assistant didn't say when they would be in, but she said they would be in September, and she even had prices for them and everything. I don't know, I'm a bit concerned because, you know, there's always going to be worries about reformulation, especially when they're changing concentration. There's some really beautiful scents in this house. I think what kind of separates or maybe lowers it from a few other exclusive lines that I really love is that unfortunately I find there to be a citrus, floral, powdery combo that just seems to be done over and over and over and over and over, and just slightly differs from a few different things. That said, there are some really fantastic scents in the line and some that are really unique. A few of my favorites, Bois d'Ile. Oh my god, that stuff is amazing. I just got a 75 ml bottle, about 65% remaining, or 65 ml remaining, and I'm already thinking of getting a 200 ml bottle just in case it changes, because it just smells divine to me. Number 22, I have to say it's gone down in my ranking a little bit, but I still really enjoy it. I think there are some better, like really pure aldehydic fragrances out there, but it's still a really good scent. Cuir de Russie, this will hopefully be my next high-end bottle. Just beautiful floral leathery fragrance. 1932, I spoke of this really highly on a video of mine recently. This is probably right behind Cuir de Russie as my next pickup. I do think it is, in my opinion, the best of like the citrusy, floral, slightly powdery fragrances. To me, that one is the best of them. Beige kind of really surprised me. It seems like such an uninteresting name, kind of a boring name, bland name, but it's really nice. It's a really good to me, kind of a unisex, dreary fall time fragrance. There's really nice honey in there. There's some really great resins. That would kind of be a distant third behind the other two. Beige is newer, so it's probably not going to get tinkered with too much compared to 32 and Russie, which, you know, are probably going to change, you know, over years and years because they've been around for like forever. Coromandel, still a really great, super sweet fragrance. One of the few that I really appreciate. I love the amazing heady patchouli in there, and just like the super sweet resins. Apparently there's white chocolate in there as well. And Sycamore, a lot of people compare it to Encre Noir, and to an extent they're right, but I think Sycamore is just a far, far, far superior fragrance, you know, put together by masters. Encre Noir is no slouch, but given a choice, I would take Sycamore any day. So there's my first 5, 10 through 6. Probably do 5 through 1 in a couple days, maybe even later tonight. Let's see what's going on. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of my picks so far. Give me some of your list, maybe the first half of your list. Wait for my second half to give yours, whatever you think. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.